plan. They won't be doing a draft the same as they just did.
Yeah, teams like this that are expected to be in the semifinals, finals, probably have something special, let's call it special, prepared for these kinds of games, especially when it's going bad. So there's this surprise effect. Maybe this was the Phoenix one was their one, but it didn't work out. But we'll see about this one.
We will. It looks like we actually have a draft ready to go for game number 2. It's our winner bracket final matchup: Team OG versus Evil Geniuses. We'll see if
Sharks
EG
versus Destroyers.
Sharks versus Destroyers. We'll see if EG can blow past OG into that grand final, or if OG are going to keep the series alive and take it to a game 3. I want to go ahead and remind everyone, if you want to get in on all those giveaways of AMD processors, graphics cards, and of course Dota cosmetics, you got to head over to g2a.com/Dota Pit. All right, guys, here it is. OG, first ban, getting rid of the Wisp. They did that in the previous game as well. Now it's back to EG's side. Ember's got to go again.
Seems like a hero that EG just want to ban every game against OG, you know, and has been playing it incredibly well in the mid to late game. It's one of those heroes where he seems to not necessarily win his lane. He'll be behind on net worth, but the hero just does too much with less farm. His items that he goes for are all these cheap, cost-effective items. The Veil, the Blink, the Boots of Travel, these aren't expensive items you have to farm up to have an impact.
Veil is such an easy item to make. And if you have some high damage from your team, magical damage, it works out so well.
All right, so the difference this time, OG, you know, in the previous game obviously banned the Earth Spirit themselves, and we're almost kind of like, hey, let's see if EG will just take the Underlord because we have something for it. This time, they'll just ban out the Underlord. Now a Shadow Demon's going to get taken out. Is it worth to go for an Earth Spirit first pick?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they will.
I think they will too. I mean, maybe not. They could just come prove us wrong, but it's the kind of hero that, yeah, it's Jarek's much more in his comfort zone. It puts OG in a position where they have a big playmaker for him. He can do better and help out the laning stage, pressure Sumail. It's the kind of hero that I think really works for OG.
And it feels like if they don't take it, EG certainly will. I mean, there it is. Okay, well, best Earth Spirit in the game. And the response right away, Slardar Darkseer. Saw it in the previous game, and it looks like we'll get a bit of the same here. 4-position Slardar with the Universe Seer.
Yeah, last game when they got the Slardar, Darkseer became banned. I think it would have more likely been the offlaner rather than the Enigma if Darkseer was available, because you can win the lane harder.
Yeah.
And he also buys the Greaves, the mech, the Greaves, the pipe, Blink, etc. But
EG always has one of those heroes that can build up a mech pipe so they can 5-man up, and this combo is such a deadly Slardar Darkseer. Even if you're losing so hard, if they both have blinks with just one good combo, and EG is known for executing those good combos, you can just turn the game around.
I mean, so EG so far, same opening as last game, but I imagine the cores that come from Sumail RTZ likely be different. Maybe OG even target some of their bans towards some of the heroes they just lost to.
Getting like little flashbacks of the Darkseer Sten combo scene, so we'll have to see if OG go down the road of armor manipulation, which, hey, first one's a dazzle.
Yeah, I was thinking
really
they might grab this here, right? Get your both supports at the start, reveal nothing as far as your cores go. EG have revealed a bit more as far as having an off-lane pairing. And you also know the Slardar's a support now. Often you see that Slardar picked up first, and you're like, could be a support, could be an off-laner. But with this draft, you're like 99% sure that's a support Slardar.
So OG now with an open-ended draft to be able to kind of pick and choose core potential. Have we seen any no-tail lifestealer at all? I don't really feel no-tail lifestealer is like a thing. You know?
I don't think I've ever heard those words.
It's kind of like Universe Slardar, you know? It's the same thing. It's kind of like, any team should be able to kind of have this hero in the rotation, but, you know, this particular team, it just doesn't seem right.
Every player pretty much here has a big hero pool, but I don't think anyone plays like all the heroes that are in the meta game right now, so...
They ban it themselves. They worried about a Slardar lifestealer combo.
Of course.
So they'll take it out, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to point out. The Jug, one of the other good safe lane carries that matches up well against the Darkseer with the Iron Shell.
Now bans out on the potential on a Shadow Fiend here. We go right back the way of OG, as mid laners are starting to be considered here. Sumail always seems to be one that's really hard to contain, so setting up an ideal matchup would be nice, even though they do have that benefit now of the Earth Spirit.
And that's what EG like to do with their lane. Set up lanes such that their safe lane, off lane can cause problems, and then give Sumail an advantageous 1v1 matchup. So the supports may be kept busy with top, with bottom, and then Sumail can just 1v1, win his lane, do his thing.
That's true. I mean, with Earth Spirit trying to put attention, let's say, towards Sumail, this potential dual offlane from EG is really going to have a nice time. So, not one Dazzle is going to be able to fend them off.
I'm maybe seeing an X from OG either ban or getting picked, so that he can't counter Dazzle.
Well, they've already got the Daxi though. I don't feel like EG can fit the X in too well.
Yeah, that is correct.
I think if there's an X, it almost has to be picked by OG. It does pair well with the Dazzle though. Like
they won't go
for the heal on top of the call as well as the Grave.
Well, I do want to say a time way back when we had a mid Sumail X. Yeah. But we also had a time of a mid Oracle Sumail, so.
It would be a shock pick, I think, if they ran an X in a safe lane or a mid roll. It would not be the expected. I don't think you're worried about countering a Dazzle. Like you just say, oh, they have Grave. Well, we'll just have to kill the hero after the Grave. Venge, though, more minus armor and a hero that they've actually run more as a carry than support.
Yeah, they play the one game as a, but they do run it as a support as well. And these do Slardar and Venge work really good.
Also fits
together,
with the blue theme is also alive here for EG.
OG have the green at least with the first pick. So.
Yeah. These are important things here.
Do you think they picked Slardar first because of the sharks?
Oh, that is a great analytical point right there.
Everyone is blue. The Dark Circus maybe a little bit purple.
Depends on
who are we to judge Lacoste?
Bleed blue.
He can live his life how he likes.
Oh, Brewmaster.
I'm skeptical of this hero. I don't know.
They were, last time OG pulled it out the other day, panel was suspect then. And they managed to make it work. Had a good value. It was versus an OD, I believe, at the time, but here OG find value in it.
Brewmaster is a natural Vladimir's offering carrier.
Oh, that's a core Vengeful Spirit.
It is.
This is just unexpected because they've got the Slardar and Chen as the two supports. This is a very like who's actually helping out the lane. Slardar roams around a bit, but they've got no one to secure like the lane so much as far as like zoning. But that's where Venge is a core.
They did something like this in terms of picking against second game against Secret, and that didn't turn out well. When seemed to me they were overcomplicating.
Very greedy. Yeah, they don't. They need that standard step. Like, who's gonna just be that sit behind?
Okay. First one of Dota Pit, and a no-tail specialty.
Now I'm liking OG Draft a bit more.
Okay.
I wasn't sure about the Brew, but I mean, Brew's a good hero to be like this space-creating, disruptive hero for a team fight to help out a Meepo. This will be some fun.
Yeah, not too much crazy AoE in there, aside from the crush that can really lock him in.
I mean, this is a great Meepo game against all these heroes. There's nothing that counters him that hard right now, and that last pick is a Sumail. There's not many mid heroes that are great against Meepo, really. I don't think. Like you don't think of mid heroes being the counters. It's like the Winter Wyvern, the Sand Kings.
No, they're not gonna play Sand King, I think.
So I mean, the kind of heroes you think against Meepo aren't really mids.
Why did you exclude Queen of Pain?
Queen of Pain gets owned by Meepo, though.
Yeah, she does.
It's true if she doesn't have a BKB, but they removed OD themselves. They need some kind of hero that can make Mjolnir maybe a bit later. That has a huge damage output.
Yeah, I mean, Queen of Pain's a bad matchup early mid game, but maybe if you get the farm you need, could turn into a hero that can deal with Meepo.
Yeah, Chen's gonna help a lot. Mid probably.
What about Sniper? He's a Mjolnir candidate. Maybe he can create the distance and help.
There we go. You're onto something, Dakota.
Oh, they got rid of it. Okay.
Okay, you're thinking the same way as OG is thinking.
What else is there? The Sumail hero. But first we got to go to OG.
Yep.
That mid lane on a grab.
I still feel maybe an Invoker game.
Invoker with Meepo. I feel like. Do you want to go that greedy with the Meepo? Maybe that could work. Meepo actually comes online very early with the Treads Dragonlance build now. It's not like the old days where you had to farm travels, ags. You just get that early Treads and you just fight.
DK is also a popular on a grab.
Yeah, DK seems solid. Gives them building push as well as another frontliner, another hero that just can stand there and make it hard to get to the Meepo.
I think they need something that can stand in the front lane besides maybe Slardar. It's not going to be so tanky.
that doesn't get ganked by the Chen rotations as well. It has an escape. If you pick a mid that gets pressured, you could just lose that lane. Ah, good. Tinker.
Is that a Sumail Tinker? We also know Arteezy to play a good share of Tinker. Okay.
Should be
I feel like I haven't
Sumail.
seen it in a while, but
There's one of maybe the better mids to run against Meepo, at least as far as how you can interact later on in the game with the Ags, get that multi-hero laser.
very true.
A lot of AoE damage.
Wow. All right, guys. There's our draft. First Meepo of the event. And Evil Geniuses, Core Vengeful Spirit. What do you think?
I think if they didn't pick Tinker, I would go with OG, but I think Tinker brings a lot to the table for EG in terms of AoE damage and just some burst. So.
Got to be careful though. Earth Spirit could get the jump on that Tinker in the mid lane too. He doesn't have a good way to kind of get out. What do you think, Odds?
I think Meepo is one of the best heroes this patch. I'm gonna go with OG, but I think the Tinker was an amazing pick, like Lacoste said. Should be a fantastic game too, though.
I'm really looking forward to this one. Should be mega hype. The first Meepo, it should be a doozy here. Let's go ahead and throw it to the sidelines right now as we have Toby, Juan, and Merlini to bring you all the coverage.
You know, we were hoping for this. We were hoping that the OG Meepo would be picked. We got the S4 Brewmaster. We get the Fly Dazzle if we want to give the supports a little bit of a big talk up as well. It's a dream for a hero draft. Merlini, do you agree with the panel? Do you lean the way of the OG, but also appreciate the Tinker pick?
I definitely like OG's draft more. I think the Meepo is really strong here. They don't have a good way to deal with it, and I also think they have pretty good solutions against the Tinker. Queen of Pain plus Earth Spirit, one of the most devastating mid lanes you can match up against. Dazzle synergizes really well with the Meepo for that added physical burst on top of the magic poof burst, and I don't think that Tinker will have enough time to get online before Meepo does his Meepo things.
Maybe that is the timing thing, but then cannot space be created? Like Vengeful Spirit is this hero that normally packs a big punch in the early phase. We've even seen him being part of aggressive tri lanes. Is that enough to actually force OG to maybe give Tinker that space?
I think it's tough. I think it's more so on the Chen than the Vengeful Spirit. Like, Dazzle will mitigate a lot of the damage from the Slaughter and the Vengeful Spirit. I think it's mostly on Chen to slow down the Meepo, slow down the Queen of Pain, counter the Earth Spirit's movement. I think if they just sit back and farm, the Meepo's gonna get out of control way too quickly. Tinker can't farm as quickly as Meepo. No hero can, actually.
So get aggressive. Run the Darkseer Slaughter. Let him do that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But can VS go one-on-one with the Brew? That would be the other thing which could cause some issues.
I think they could just DS top lane and the VS Slaughter. I don't know. They don't aggro that often, though. But I do think that keeping the Meepo down is key here. Like, the later the game goes, I think it's slightly better for the Tinker because you want your Aether and Ags up ASAP. And if Meepo gets his things going in like 20-25 minutes with a couple Aegis under his belt, then I think it's a lot of trouble for them. You can just dive the Tinker and kill him, sacrifice your Aegis, and go on from there.
Yeah, just that small advantage for the Tinker is the fact that OG doesn't have great, like, the big chase heroes. Like Storm Spirit used to be one of the big counters, so does Spirit Breaker against a hero like a Tinker.
Yeah.
Just to try and catch him out in the side lane. So once you get that Blink Dagger and maybe one bigger control item, you're going to have a better time split pushing with that Tinker. And then you got the Chen army. But I think you're right. Like, a lot of it comes down to the timing. Like, how early is OG going to hit you? How quickly can S4 get that Blink Dagger? Because he's still going to be their primary initiation without just relying on G-Rax to get the rolling boulders over. Because if that's what you rely on, you could find yourself pretty heavily inside of March of the Machines. Or in counter initiation, because they've also got the distance for swap, Hand of God for survivability, the chaos factor that arises from a Darkseer. Even that Darkseer, this is one of the other combinations which was run a hell of a lot. The Slaughter running this 4 roll in combination with the Darkseer, double Iron Shells, you close the distance really quickly with Surge or Sprint, or both.
Yeah, the the vacuum into Slither and Crush combo is pretty devastating for a team fight. It's kind of like an RP, I suppose.
You can get it right. Universe position normally will allow you to do that. And that's what I was thinking might actually happen. You look at the lanes going out, Universe is already headed down south. Now, with the early scouting from G-Rax, he can put an Observer Ward inside the Radiant jungle, and he might get a glimpse of the Darkseer's maneuver.
Yeah, I think this is you want the VS to be matched up against the Meepo. You need to slow the Meepo down at all costs and buy time for your Tinker. That's the objective of the early game, I believe. And let's see if any wards have scattered out anything yet.
Arteezy, the dire observe ward on top of the shrine, and you're already seeing OG respond to this. So they're moving Fly as well as Notal down to the bottom lane.
You want your Broodmaster to be sacked, not in the one-on-one situation. I think he'll struggle a lot versus Darkseer in the lane, and Darkseer will just get way too much farm. So,
I wonder if Zai actually commits the sentry, and okay, that's interesting to see where we're going to put the sentry, because I've seen a lot of teams actually put the sentry closer towards the shrine, so you get both the hillside as well as the shrine area.
you can't see up there, though.
That is true.
They don't have Flying Courier. You'd have to commit Wave of Terror, and that's
too
that
much.
wouldn't actually be that bad. I think it'd be okay to commit Wave of Terror, but yeah, they won't get that D ward.
So Dire Observe Ward remains where it is. Fly and S4 will be the dual safe lane, and then Notail will head to the off lane. Urax will be the roaming support with the early Orb of Venom, and then Anna into the mid. And Arteezy, well, at the moment he's solo top, but support is on the way. So Zai and Crit do that work, and that Observe Ward, it won't block camps, but something it's going to do is see the positioning of the Chen. So if Chen decides whatever creep he wants, OG will understand what it is and probably where he's going to go with it. So this Observe Ward has done so much work already for OG.
Yeah, it really has. Notail, I think, is perfectly okay versus the Darkseer. Once he gets level 3, he can double poof. I don't think he needs to skill Earthbind until 4.
They're really trying to get up in S4 space. This is the exact combination that EG were attempting to do up against the Meepo. Just stun into crush. As aggressive as you can, and then with a little bit of help from a Chen, you could probably just turn the tides a little bit more.
Sumail destroyed on the last game, and this game looks to be fairly similar in terms of CS. 5-3 for the Tinker, 1-1 for the Queen of Pain. Granted, there is the Wild Wing Ripper swirling his little feathery wings around, but it still is quite the upset in the middle lane.
Universe? Yeah, he can't body block that one forever. He's actually going to surge up. If he can get back in front of him with the Iron Shell burn, it's not enough. He would have come way too close towards the town, but it's still Notal forced to burn the salve early on in the game.
At least he's getting farms and levels. That's exactly what you need on your Meepo.
3 heroes now up here for OG. Don't have a huge amount of damage. You can like Rolling Boulder into Clap and Shadow Wave, which will do a decent amount. And in fact, that's exactly what they do, but Crit gets the double crush off. There's your Shadow Wave. The damage is good, but Crit being the one to tank it meant that he'll end up surviving. Universe, oh wow, Notal's so low. Centaur Conqueror is so close, but Sumail's already got the first blood over on Anna. A quick reply by Zai. Rolling Boulder forward from Durex, can't get close up to Universe. Centaur Conqueror coming in again, so Zai comboing up with the Darkseer. But first blood, Sumail onto Anna, and then Zai onto Notail.
It's pretty nasty, the Centaur. Who needs Helmet Dominator when you have a Chen on your team? And that mid lane too. I mean, I think generally Sumail's favored in most mid one-on-one matchups, but combine that with the Chen creep, it's just very little contest on the mid lane, it seems.
Life might get easier for Notail now that he'll have 2 Earthbinds in the lane. So a lot more control over this this aggressive push that could come out from the melees.
Adam, it's pretty close to dying again. He has the salve up immediately. Sumail, will he get the rocket? Yep, that's gonna cancel the salve unless
quick
he
blink.
blinks.
And a dodge.
And a dodge indeed. Now Sumail's gonna have to wait for that courier. I guess he could make an excursion to the shrine, but he'd miss out on a couple of CS in the meantime.
Courier just hit 3 minutes anyway, so he can bottle up. He may even just shrine and then keep all 3 charges of the bottle too.
Jerax trying to perhaps interrupt Sumail.
He walks over, but Troll Trap into the stun. Sumail, he's still got rockets and laser, but he decides just to wait until Zai's done enough damage that he can kill secure with the laser itself. So Sumail getting his first, I say, is 1 kill and 1 assist on the board.
Zai's doing a lot of work on the Chen. Secured Sumail the mid lane, secured the bottom lane with a Meepo kill, and prevented Earthspear from ganking him. And seems like top lane is also not going well for S4, so EG coming out far ahead of this lane.
Here comes Zai again.
Notail on the bottom lane.
It's the Troll Trap. Here comes your Centaur Stomp. Meepo locked in. Universal run forward. You actually get the Iron Shell up in time, and Notail will fall. You want the Meepo to be shut down. He's died multiple times, even though he has managed to pick up 16 CS.
Yeah, the wild factor was the Chen, and Zai has been delivering. I think Chen is a very, very difficult hero to play. It requires just multiple ways to adapt in every single game. You can't play him the same way every game with the same creeps. And he's been doing a lot with the creeps that he's been given.
Jirax, bounty rune away from Crit, then got seen by the observer board of EG, rolls back up, and then Crit just can't stay on top of him. Such an amazing hero, and really they just searched a Hellbear room with an Iron Shell as well. Another kill on the bottom lane. Now the third death of the Meepo. They need some kind of answer, and that's why they look to the top lane. Jirax rolling Boulder up, actually misses everything, but Artesian Crit, they'll both be double kicked. The damage and control just hasn't been enough. Artesian Crit is still too strong for him.
And they're technically losing this lane too, because they're trying to use 3 heroes to zone at the 2, but Artesi's getting a ton of farm, way more than the Radiant or Dire side heroes, and they also aren't able to really pull and stack that much, and now they're under a lot of pressure. They need to get this Meepo back in the game. They need to start stacking, they need to start getting kills with the Queen, but nothing's really happening for them. And on top of this, they're gonna have like the BOTs fairly soon on the Tinker, I would say, at this rate, and you can BOT on the Chen creeps, the Helmet Dominator creeps, and your problems are gonna compound.
Love how Samel as well, like do you even need the Soul Ring when he's able to find regeneration runes, or when he controls runes this heavily?
I don't
just
think
rush
so.
the BTs.
Another benefit of having a Chen is you can just get sent back and then just TP back to the mid lane without having to use a rearm for that. So I think you can just get BOTs very early on and just be completely okay with that. You can also, you know, ferry over some bottles to the Darkseer and the Vengeful Spirit to make the side lanes a little bit stronger without having to use the Chen heal. So like the laning phase is getting pretty ugly, I would say. Meepo working on a bottle, but normally Meepo has like treads and then some, I would say, at this point in time. Maybe started working towards that first Dragonlance, but he is nowhere in sight, doesn't even have an Iron Talon. But the benefit of him being in the offlane is that he can take this side camp very early on. Unfortunately, it's not stacked for him.
And it blinks into Samael. I was very happy just to laser him in return. Zai invading in deep thanks to the observer board. He sees a lot of maneuvering, including Jirax, so he waits for him to come up the hillside. Penitent Man, he will not pass. Jirax getting stunned up, rolling Boulder out. He had a small little opening. Meanwhile, No Tail's been brought down by Universe, and Jirax the crush from Crit. It reaches over the hill thanks to the observer ward. You can see on the other side of the tree line.
Zai is just playing amazingly well on this Chen. He's
Anna, he needs this.
Oh my.
He needs this. Universe is TPing out. Sonic Wave won't be enough damage. Universe just leaves. Anna with a haste rune rotation, he won't at least waste that much time, but he still needed that kill.
I think he could have Shadow Struck and actually hit out of mana for Shadow Strike and Sonic Wave. So, yep, no kill attempt there. That was pretty close though. And Chen already pushing with the help of the VS Aura. This is not good is an understatement.
Yeah, this is close to disastrous levels for OG. Losing the tower early on. We were looking at critical things to come in from OG. One of them was the Blink Dagger over on S4. I think the other thing I was looking for was Meepo to have levels, but you're 7 minutes in and you have a level 7 Meepo. It's almost unheard of. Zai, now he's looking for a kill on S4. The first stun flies out. It's a wonderful kick from Jirax to create space. So EG can't get close enough for another stun.
Yeah, in retrospect, it might have been better for OG to dump the dual lane on bottom. I didn't think they'd leave Meepo solo down there, but Meepo plus Dazzle perhaps could have fended off the Darkseer Chen combination, but I don't think they were expecting the Chen to interfere so much in that lane.
But he really did, and Universe will have to play aggressive, so does Arteezy. Surged in, gets the stun in to start with. No swap up just yet, one more attack would do it. Universe got Surge up cooldown in 1 second time, but Arteezy is not going to go that deep for it.
And he was very close to level 6. So looks like double Helmet Dominators are probably coming out. I see one headdress on the Vengeful Spirit, one on the Chen, and one on the Darkseer. Darkseer most likely building mech though. And
Tinker has BTs.
Yep, Tinker has BOTs, so that's... I think Tinker is especially good with the Helmet Dominator. The Helmet Dominator, as we saw, enabled the Clinks yesterday. I also think it can enable the Tinker this game too, if you have that level of coordination to move around the map. So Meepo, generally you're pretty safe, you just move around wherever, but I think it's going to be very difficult to match the mobility of the constant BOTs on the Tinker.
But they got to try, or else OG's going into that lower bracket into a best-of-1 situation. EG, they're not letting up. The pressure is applied down the bottom lane, and OG, they will give it a shot. Looks like EG, they've worked it out.
They sense something's funny.
Yep. No one's in mid. Anna is just hovering back now to show himself. With only one Meepo showing on top that also poses a couple of question marks. But OG, they've come in very, very deep, and they may have found the big target. S4 smoke will break. Samael straight to the tree line.
Man, that troll too, Zai.
Oh, Jirax, does he get out? He's trapped up, but Rolling Boulder managed to reach the other side of the river.
That positioning with the troll summoner too. Like all these small things just adding up to a goose egg for OG.
Jirax back to the bottom lane. Swap is now available for Arteezy. So ability to get himself out of trouble or potentially put someone deep in trouble.
Well, it's time to use a primal split. That is their big T-Fight ultimate, I guess, aside from Sonic Wave. If you can get in there without dying.
And with Arteezy's posturing then, I was wondering if S4 was going to trigger it just as a defensive thing.
Oh, they do have the Grave, so maybe if they overcommit on S4, they can fight with a primal split with all the Radiant heroes on top of them, but EG doesn't really seem to be letting that happen, and Sumail's pressuring No-Tail on the side lanes. He did not go for that bottle that he had in his quick buy, so a little hard press for sustain.
They got the sun over on Brewmaster. You'll have to go for that shallow Grave. Primal Split is now out. Arteezy is on the run. Jirax wants to be winning, but the Surge, he's too far away. The rockets have been thrown, so Arteezy will make it to the tree line. Trigger off his one charge to start the TP. They'll see him, and just in time, send him up and towards the air, drop him down quickly, and Arteezy will be the first kill that OG is able to claim, and it took him 10, almost a half minutes to achieve it.
Really nice play from S4 there. He read where he was going to go exactly. That's not that common of a spot, but he figured that he wasn't going over to the right side and made that clever assumption onto the middle part of the trees. It's a very important kill for them. Slowing down the Vengeful Spirit, slows down their pushes.
At the same time, Chen did some significant damage to that tier 1 tower with a catapult wave, and Crit's getting a lot of space to fire up his blink dagger on top. So the initiation item, Slaughter, Mr. Third lowest net worth, is still going to have that big jump item which destroys up OG. And those Dominators are coming online. So with Mech, Hand of God, interesting to see what Zai, like, is it worth actually getting more resistance? Like he's just currently walking around with, okay, no, that's what it is. It's going to go into the Dominator, the heavy armor, the heavy army.
Dominator is great on Shen. I think the HPR is incredibly good too.
Oh,
No-Tail just double
both hoofs. The crush will come in. Samael will arrive. Arteezy's here as well. So No-Tail will die. He had teammates nearby, but nowhere near close enough to react. And what do they do now? You wait 25 seconds for him to come up. The tier 2 tower objective will be taken. So Fly stays in close, rolling Boulder forward. It's a nice kick turn on the Magnetize with a Sonic Wave from Anna. The damage is big. Crit will fall. Jirax is ticking down as well. He'll be saved by that shallow grave. So 2 lost for EG. Universe bailing out. It'll end up being a 2-for-2 trade-off. Zai's damage with his army still there. Takes the last fatal blow.
Ooh, Jirax is saving these team fights for them. Ooh, he sacrificed his life right there just to get a lot of damage on, and that actually slowed down Slaughter's blink. Slaughter had around 2,000 gold before he ended up dying, so pretty impactful kill. Vengeful Spirit also 0-2 right now. However, Tinker yet to die this game and very close to picking up 12 Blink Dagger.
Stun. Who needs a Blink Dagger when you have Arteezy, Queen of Pain? She'll go down. Kind of wanted to say like space is going to be created because OG keeps their tier 2 tower alive, so Meepo can not feel as threatened under inside of his own jungle. But when things like that happen, life is harder.
Jamil almost tried to almost got caught out by No-Tail there, but yeah, the net missed. I do like the swap stun combination too. Ana didn't have observer wards up the hill, so wasn't really expecting that coming.
Oh, so they're going to go again on mid. It's just No-Tail. And Snare controlling Arteezy. His swap's almost off cooldown.
Jirax scouting out Zai on the top lane, and Zai has no idea what's happening here.
Yeah, he really doesn't, but oh, he still dodges, goes left, dodges the rolling boulder. He's still got a troll trap, they'll keep S4 away. So Zai, I don't know if unintentional awesomeness or just pure skill, but he dodges the gang from OG.
Maybe a little bit of both.
He'll take column A, column B, and add column C. Goodbye tier 1 tower mid. That's the last tier 1 tower for OG.
Meepo's getting there. He already has his level 1 talent. 15 damage really helps a lot when you're trying to farm up neutrals constantly.
TPing mid. Lances. There's your Blink Crush. Right on top of the Queen of Pain. Fly was able to get the Shallow Grave off, but Anna blinks up. and away, but Notal poofing out, able to do so. Nice weave from Fly with a negative armor. Maybe EG will think twice about going in, or maybe not. Crit jumps in so far with that missed up. He already finds one. Jirax, they body block him up, so he can't really rolling bolt around this one. And that's another 2 heroes down for OG, now making it a very big margin for EG. 12-3 on the board, and maybe even more. Crit actually gets the stun. Notal caught outside the base, stunned up. 3 heroes down now. In just the last minute, and this advantage, it is skyrocketing for EG.
How demoralizing is this for the Queen of Pain and the Meepo? Meepo has been put in the grave 6 times, and Queen of Pain has just felt useless. She almost died from full HP, regen up and just almost died again.
TZ couldn't get the stun off, was actually dodged by the Primal Split, but Earthspirit never got into the fight. The Sonic Wave will hit nicely, but both Mech and Hand of God, so much life coming back. Chen will be the casualty, and then the stun. Ana, nowhere to run. The Marsh, the machines are down. It's too much damage. Even Fly starts his TP. That shallow grave will last just long enough for him to get back, but S4 won't be so lucky. Tinker's coming back in again on the BT. Zai with a double kill. 16-4. This is now one of the earliest pushes into the base we've had in Dota Pit so far. 15 minutes and EG are taking a tier 3 tower.
The lanes went catastrophically for OG, and this is the result. E3 and Rax being breached at just 15.5 minutes, and Notel just has not had the space to farm at all, under constant pressure from the Ion Shells in the lane, and all the T1s being taken down by Chen. And it has been a nightmare for him.
Tink is back. But they've already done the job on the back. The crunch 3-man is practically a ravage. OG losing so much. The Dazzle will fall. Notal will go down the back lines. Durex wants to roll back in again, make the most of this magnetize. It kind of feels over, and they're just looking for any kind of bone that EG will throw them, but it doesn't really exist.
Mass auto strat too. Between the Greaves and the Helm of Dominator, and then the Chen creeps and the Chen heal, they just straight heal through that magnetize. It's as if they had a healing order, even better. That was crazy.
What do you even do here, OG?
Try and get big on the Meepo. Try and do a big combo with the Earth Spirit, but the vacuum wall or vacuum into the crush it's rough. It's really rough.
Got that, you got the burn of the Iron Shell, you got Tinker getting bigger as well. Now completed up his Ether Lens. Level 14. Highest on the map. Universe pretty close behind him. Already with a fully completed Greaves, and all these vac walls that have been happening from Universe is without Blink Dagger. He's picking it up next.
That's his hero, man. He is so good with the initiation every single time.
And now you get a 4-staff as well for Crit, so his range of attack is even bigger. So if he gets to jump in, all he really wants to do is just mist up Ana. Ease up Ana.
And for Darkseer, he actually picked up the cast range talent. I think that's...
Oh, Jirax.
Oh, no.
That's just cruel. He got purged up by the creep, so massively slowed down. Notal will just poof himself away, but the Earth Spirit's lost. And so is the tier 2 tower on top.
Oh, they can just keep this train rolling. Trying to get something out of this, get the T2 on bottom, but Tinker's already there to try and march out the wave, and Notail under heavy fire.
Crit, able to get the stun. If he gets an extra bash, Meepo trying to poof out, not in time. 50 seconds on the sideline for Notail.
He's at that point where he's not even strong enough to split push and just poof out at will. The Tinker and the Soldier are too strong at the moment. Everyone's too strong on EG, honestly.
I think he's going to start to murder people even harder. Finished up the Dagon, so on top of the burst damage he already had, he's going to amplify that more. Such a huge game right now for EG. They played so well. They're going to push their advantage a little bit harder.
Pretty sad for Quat when he had to take the 5 strength over to 20 damage.
They're going to come to fight. OG, they need to. They really don't have a choice. Meepo can TP out to the shrine, but Roshan, he's going to be dead before OG arrive. That's exactly what's happened. So Arteezy becomes immortal. The Weave will connect from the Dazzle. And EG will just wait it out and go for, or potentially a death push. They could just rotate and be safe. Go for the tier 2 tower on bot lane. Make no mistakes.
Either one, I'm sure, is a fine position, as long as they don't fight uphill into that shrine. That's probably the only one that's a losing cause for them.
It's like Sumail changed his mind on his item build. He's going to go into the Aghanim Scepter now. He got the level 1 Dagon and was looking at the rest of the levels as well. But now maybe a little bit more of a plan that goes beyond 20 minutes.
Having the laser refract on all the Meepos is just limits his output greatly. And you can't get BKB to counter it. Can't get MKB to counter it. You have to get Bloodthorn. Or just get a Hex to kill the Tinker, but he is in no such position to do so.
Yeah, that's way too much money for Meepo. First needs to build up his stats. He's probably... Yeah, he needs to get the Blink Dagger off the Double Dragon Lance.
And then Scepter, and then another item.
Yep, that's when you can think about something like an Orchid, Bloodthorn, something along those lines.
Queen of Pain's also in poverty mode.
What's she walking around with? Veil and looking at Eels, but you're probably considering buyback as your more important thing at the moment. Both Meepo, Dazzle, and the Queen of Pain all have buyback available.
Well, here we go. ES potentially coming in from the sides, trying to scout out for the Tinker. That could be a great way for them to start the fight if Jerax can get the stun off.
He's really close, but Sumail just blinks a little bit further back. The stun will go on Arteezy, not the one they want. He's got the Aegis Demol. It's the reason why Arteezy's on the front lines, and henceforth almost dying to just the march, the machines, and the spam from range.
And there's an Alpha Wolf sitting right there too. Buff up Arteezy's damage and a place for the Tinker to TP to.
Oh, Sumail, he jumped in a little bit closer. No Child thought that was his opportunity, but then the back 3-man wall and 3-man crush. EG hit the combination. They don't get the kills off it, however. There's a little bit of interruption on the back lines by Jirax. Again, trying to create space for his team, and with the rest of this Bruling ultimate, they have to try and kill off something, even if it's just burning the Aegis, the Immortal. It stops Arteezy from standing in the front lines. They don't have the damage, they don't have the control. Brewmaster will go back into his normal self. Shallow Graves used on Anima crit, right there for the crush. Arteezy on the money, there's your nuke. Queen of Pain will buy back, and OG will throw everything, mainly their bodies, at this EG lineup. And Universe, another quick back. He's just trying to keep him in place. The wall's in pretty deep, so they just make more copies, more vision. The top right is totally gone. Another crush out. Jirax is gone. OG huddling on their tier 4 towers. The damage from Sumail is way too big. And there it is. GG is called. Evil Geniuses will do it in 21.5. Taking out OG 2-0 in the winners bracket final.
And the Meepo counters keep expanding. First Winter Wyverns spent a couple of patches ago. We have the Ember Mag, now they're